Really just suffering from depression. I had it about 5 years ago, and I was kind of in a low place and really dark place. So yeah, to be able to get out of that and come and see the other side of it is just really good. And I hope that if any other person is in that situation, they can do the same. Be compared, unfortunately, to men's football, but yeah, we're trying to make it that it's not two separate footballs, if that makes sense. So you want it to be just football, not all it's women's football, because that gets almost taken the wrong way. But yeah,
Thank you. Hello, welcome to the Winners Mindset podcast. Welcome, Siobhan. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Really good, thank you. And just before we start it off here, I just want to let all the viewers know that do have a slight stammer. This podcast is to also raise awareness for that. So just to let you know and heads up, to just help people out there. So Siobhan, so you just start off with, what is your definition of a winner's mindset?
I think just believing in yourself. Everything you're doing in life, whether it is sport or with sport, just believing that you can do it and get the success at the end of it. But yeah, just being a belief in yourself, and having that fight throughout as well to keep you going.
Yeah. And with the fight with yourself, talk to me about your upbringing then. So how you kind of enjoyed football from a young age, and how kind of you went into the game and stuff like that.
I'd started off at school football. It was just a hobby at that point. I was just playing with your school friends and going places, different schools and stuff. And then it kind of went to a little bit more competitive. Young boys at the time, we played alongside boys. So yeah, under 13s at Adina Hibs. Yeah, just played there for a couple of years, and then from under 13s, I was scouted from Hibs. And then yeah,
Yeah.
just all the way through to the first team. I made myself through each age group and then the reserves up to the first team. So yeah, it's been a good journey throughout the academy up to the first team, and yeah, one I'll look back to and be proud of.
For you, what's the main like change between now and then with the popularity with women's football, and have you noticed like with the differences?
Yeah, I think there's been massive changes. Obviously, the backing of sponsorships, TV, things like that. It's went through the roof. Recently, obviously with the English league, they've really went far with it. So yeah, just stuff like that. I think before we weren't really even podcasts things. We didn't do that when we were younger a few years ago, and yeah, it's good to get the media side out of it, and yeah, you always learn on different things that you can train media wise. You can on
Yeah.
TV interviews are there, so yeah, being able to do stuff on the pitch but also off the pitch as a player as well.
What was the perspective of you then as a young girl when you used to play football? And was it like, oh, she's a girl with obviously us, obviously she can't go as far as she probably wants, or how has that changed? That like, how was the perspective then?
When I was younger, it wasn't too bad. You always got this comments at
Yeah.
the side saying, obviously, oh, there's a girl playing, or there's a girl in this team. But yeah, it didn't phase me too much at that point. I just kind of enjoyed playing football, and it's just something I like doing. It made me happy. So yeah, I didn't look into it too much. But yeah, there's been loads of scenarios that girls do get quite a bit of almost abuse for it, and you get slated sometimes for it. And it's getting a lot better now. I think males accept women's as footballers now rather than before it we were joining in, or oh, why is she here? So yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of a thing you had to get over, but it almost builds you up to be better going forward, because you're strong when maybe you are getting these comments towards you. You can take it a little bit better.
Yeah. How important has your kind of self confidence confidence been in your life really
I think it's been
between that?
important. Yeah, you have to be confident. There's times, obviously, in football, you will lose your confidence if you're not winning games or you're not playing well. You will lose it. But yeah, always having that belief at the start of your head is really important. And if you've got self belief, then it thrives through the team, and you can bring it to the team as well. And that's only going to help the team. So yeah, I think it's a huge thing in sport.
Well, is there any particular person that has helped you in your life, like with the whole upbringing stuff, who's influenced you with football?
I think my dad was a huge influence on the football side of things. He was always kind of there, and my granddad, he drove me left, centre of town, right, all the way around the world. So yeah, he was a big influence, and just being able to go to these places and play football without having to worry to get there or getting free buses to get somewhere. It was having family around you to take you to places and just being able to perform. So yeah, just my family around me and doing them proud is the most important thing, and still doing it now is great.
How do you deal with maybe like hard times in your life?
I think it's you just have to kind of accept that there is going to be hard times. People sometimes shy away from being in hard situations, but yeah, I kind of like challenge myself to get out of these challenging times, and you always have to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And yeah, if you can see some sort of light, then it helps you through. But no, being able to get through hard times, it only makes you a better person, and it makes you a lot stronger going forward.
Talk to me about your like rise through the game. So you've been at Hibs since eight, is that right? And then you obviously worked through the ranks at Hibs,
11, I
is
think
that
it
right?
was, yeah, 11-year old, yeah.
11 years. And how has that kind of rise been? And have you've always wanted to be like on like playing for Hibs?
Yeah, I think as you know anybody, they'll know that I love Hibs so much, and yeah, it's just something I love playing for the club. I always will, and you as a child you support the club and you think, oh, I wish I could play for Hibs one day, and yeah, to be able to do that, it's just it's amazing, and I cherish every moment that I have here. But no, I always wanted to try and make it to the top, and knowing that I had some ability, if I just kept working hard, then hopefully I would get given a chance. And yeah, thankful for the coaches that I've had. They have given me the chance, and yeah, I've took it with both hands, and hopefully there's many more years to come.
How proud were you to represent your country on one appearance for your country?
Yeah, I think it's probably the most satisfying achievement in your life. I think anyone, if you speak to anyone in your life, they want to represent their country at something, and to be able to do that was like so special, and I'll never forget that moment. It's almost like it was yesterday, but yeah, it's just one of the best feelings in the world. And yeah, growing up, you always want to do it, so to be able to do it, it's just so special.
Did you feel at that kind of point that you were representing your country, but also representing kind of the girls' football and kind of being like a role model, or almost for
Yeah, I
them?
think probably looking back now, you didn't maybe at the time take it like you were a role model, but yeah, looking back now, there was probably young kids looking at myself and thinking, "Oh, I want to be in her boots." But no, at the time, you almost have to pitch yourself and try not get too caught up in it because it is such a proud moment. But no, it's something that I hope every young girl can dream of, and a lot of them will make it. But yeah, it's achievable now, and there's so many girls playing football that it will be a challenge. But as I said earlier, that if you do work hard, then it's right in front of you if you want it.
Yeah, sure. Talk to me about like funding into women's football, and how can we further develop it?
It's kind of almost just mirroring the English game. If you look at the English game 7 years ago, probably it wasn't as big, but now it's probably closer to the men's game than it's ever been. So yeah, just a lot of things that they've been doing. They've got a lot of backing from the FA. They've been getting the backing from each club. So yeah, just in the female game in Scotland, just the clubs around each club backing each other and giving them the stuff that they need, resources wise. Obviously, we've got great facilities here, we've got great resources. So being able to be in the building that the same as the men is a huge step. But yeah, stuff like media and TV and stuff like that. But yeah, as you've probably seen recently, Sky Sports are now on board. So it's those little things that obviously when it come out it's a huge thing. But is probably little just now, but it is a stepping stone into the future that hopefully we'll be in the same path as English.
And how refreshing is it for you to hear that, you know, high attendance games are getting like 90,000 games, like 90,000 fans heading to games now with the new camp and with the Euro obviously. And how does that make you feel like as like a player that plays football for women? And I bet that must be really refreshing for you to hear.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think when you see these figures coming out, you're almost blown away, but you shouldn't be surprised because yeah, it's always on the up. So for it to be at those numbers, it's unbelievable. But I think rightly so, they deserve it. They've worked hard over the years, and the standard of football actually is exceptional. So yeah, they deserve everything they're getting, and hopefully make it continue.
One person talked to me the other day and he said to me, or she said to me, obviously women's football, men's football, you know, they are the same. But I think at times we kind of learn how to like say, oh, women's football is worse than men's, or men's football is worse than women's. Maybe we should just let them be and kind of make women's football with like its own self, not really compare it to men's. So, and I just want to hear your thoughts on it. It's because a lot of people in obviously the Euros are saying, oh, men's football should do this, or women's football should do this. How can women's football write its own story?
I think you've always got a story with women's football, obviously with the history of it, and then the numbers that they're creating now. But yeah, comparing it to men's football, it is tough. You always get the comparisons probably from the lower leagues to they'll then compare it to the best player in the world. So you can never compare those two together. But I think if you look at the English men's Premier League and then you look at the English WSL, they're pretty similar. Obviously, the money is miles off it, and but the ability wise, if you were to sit and watch women's football on the TV, it's come on a lot. There was years maybe when it was a little bit less attacking and it wasn't much pretty football. But no, I think now if you watch any women's football's games, they do try and play football. They do try and play the football the right way. So yeah, it's always going to be compared, unfortunately, to men's football. But yeah, we're trying to make it that it's not two separate footballs, if that makes sense. So you want it to be just football, not all it's women's football, because that gets almost taken the wrong way. But no, I think it's going in the right direction, and there's no reason to stop.
Cool. What's the next steps now for you then? So where do you want to go next? You know, into coaching, or obviously you have your playing career now, and obviously at Hibs. But what's kind of the next thing that you want to achieve in your life?
Yeah, I just want to be able to play at the highest level for me. If that's at Hibs, then perfect. It's obviously where I want to be, and it's the closest club to my heart. So yeah, I'll stay here until further notice. But no, like just being able to be in a full-time environment, I never ever thought like that would be achievable when I was little. I think to turn around and say that football is your job, it's really special, and I take it with both hands each day. I don't take anything for granted because there is people in situations that aren't able to do this. So yeah, it's really special and I love doing it. But yeah, when I do retire, hopefully I will then go back into I would like to give back to obviously the club and the sport that obviously helped me through my career. So yeah, I would like to do something either manager or sports science kind of side of things. But yeah, definitely go back into the game.
Yeah. Just to end off, we always do a quick fire questions. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you basically five now. Okay, so favorite moment in football that you've had in your career?
Scoring against Hearts at Tynecastle.
Most difficult um challenge you've overcame in your life?
Um, I think probably just suffering from depression. I had it about 5 years ago, and I was kind of in a low place and really dark place. So yeah, to be able to get out of that and come and see the other side of it is just really good. And I hope that if any other person is in that situation, they can do the same.
Can we just expand on that? What advice would you give to people now? Obviously, you've been through it yourself, and obviously it's been talked about a lot more in the last few years about mental health and spreading the awareness. And I've experienced it now with schools, even like they're talking about it all the time. And what advice would you give so there's more action against it, not just talking but action? Because what's your
I think
thoughts on
just
that?
seek help. If you are struggling, like there will be one person out there, if not a lot more, that'll speak to you. And I think being able to let it out and speak about it is important. There's always that stigma around like not speaking out and stuff. You don't have to necessarily speak out if you need to write it down or text someone. It might be the way around it, but yeah, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that's probably the most important thing when you are in that dark place that you almost feel like it's at a stop and you can't see out, but 9 out of 10 times there is a way out, and just being able to find that way of getting out is the most important.
For sure, for sure. And I think there's always ways that you can, like, it's not about this way is more helping than this way. It's all about what you feel is, um, women role models in football. Do you have any that you kind of look up to in the kind of like the women's game?
Yeah, Kim Little. She obviously started off at Hibs, so yeah, she was a massive role model for me. And Julie Fleeton. I used to have posters on my wall when she was at Arsenal. So it was quite funny. She came then obviously back to Scotland to play against us. So yeah, it was quite a special moment to be able to watch her when I was younger and then obviously play against her in the league. But yeah, she was a good one.